Hey guys, it's Maddie. Today we are back with another decade of our brand new 100 Years of Trucking series. This time, we are taking you guys on a trip back through time in our very own truck time machine to the year 1930 with our Trucking in the 30s video. Let's get started. If you'll recall from our very first video in this series, we left off in the year 1929, right in the midst of what would go on to be known as one of the most chaotic economic crises the U.S. has endured, the Great Depression. Even with the fragile financial state of the U.S. economy during this time, as the nation struggled through the Depression, technology continued to move forward, and the United States, as always, managed to find a way to keep on trucking. Trucking remained a force to be reckoned with, and still managed to achieve a significant foothold in the industry during this time. Many new and upcoming truck manufacturers had emerged from the Roaring '20s and were all vying for their position in an increasingly popular market. The 1930 U.S. Census showed the population had increased more than 16% over the past decade, and more people naturally meant more trucks. More trucks meant more standardization of trucks and their trailers, as well as more efficient diesel engines and increased construction of paved roads, which caused the ever-growing industry to soon become subject to various government regulations and restrictions. In March of 1931, the predecessor to the memorable Marmon trucks, a new heavy truck manufacturer, Marmon Harrington, opened their doors close to home here at Jack's Chrome in Indianapolis, Indiana. Also in 1931, formerly known under their German Sternberg name, Sterling Trucks released their brand new F-Series that many said closely resembled yet another truck manufacturer's model at the time, Brockway Motors Company. This same year, the Star-Spangled Banner was approved by President Hoover and Congress as the United States national anthem. The next year, in 1932, after having already earned their acclaimed Bulldog nickname, the very first Bulldog hood ornament was carved by Mack Truck's chief engineer, Alfred Massery. Massery received a patent for the design later on in the year, and since then it has been that very same beloved Bulldog bust that adorns each and every Mack truck to this day. Also in 1932, the above-mentioned Marmon Harrington Company built the first all-wheel drive truck and trailer combination, which also doubled as the largest truck ever built at the time and was used for oil pipe construction in Iraq. In hopes to mend a crumbling economy, Franklin D. Roosevelt hit the ground running in his fresh new role as president in 1933 and quickly began implementing a series of New Deal programs for financial reform and public work projects. By the time the end of the year rolled around, all of the states had some varying form of weight regulations and restrictions for trucks as part of the newly elected President FDR's New Deal. Prohibition was officially over, and the American financial state was finally beginning to look up. In what proved to eventually be a major year of growth and building in America, Mack Trucks notably aided in the building of the Boulder Dam in 1933, a now worldwide landmark known as the Hoover Dam. It was this same year that Kenworth became the first American truck manufacturer to install diesel engines as standard equipment in their vehicles. Also in 1933, the oldest surviving motor vehicle brand, Autocar, launched their Model U truck, which brought back the engine-under-the-seat format, which would go on to evolve into today's cab-over-engine design. Skipping ahead to 1935, Congress passed the original Motor Carrier Act, which amended the previous Interstate Commerce Act in order to regulate buses and trucks as common carriers. This Motor Carrier Act also authorized the now abolished Interstate Commerce Commission to regulate the trucking industry and advise Congress on behalf of common carriers. The Social Security Act was also passed by Congress this same year as part of the New Deal legislation signed into law by President Roosevelt. The following August in 1936, The Summer Olympic Games were hosted in Berlin, Germany, under the watchful eye of Adolf Hitler, who by this point had already began shaping his master plans of Aryan supremacy. Of course, the star of the games was Black American Jesse Owens, who went on to bring home 4 gold medals that year. Tension was beginning to build already, an appropriate foreshadowing of what was soon to come. Later on, in November of 1936, Roosevelt was re-elected for his second presidential term after overwhelming his Republican competitor Alfred Landon with well over 60% of the popular vote. Kenworth rocks the industry yet again this same year with another groundbreaking advancement in trucking as they released their very first factory sleeper cabs. In May of 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge opens as not only a monumental pillar of the American landscape, but also as a vital link between San Francisco and Marin County. This iconic method of transport would not only serve as a way to connect from city to city, but as a common connection for all Americans to share. A year later, in 1938, Mack Trucks unveiled another industry first when they became the first truck manufacturer to design and build their very own heavy-duty diesel engines. Also, and perhaps most notably in 1938, Congress enacted the very first hours of service regulations, now limiting the driving and working hours of truckers and bus drivers. However, within only 6 months of the original rulings of the above-mentioned laws, the Interstate Commerce Commission ultimately decided to crack down even further and change the 12-hour work limit to only 10 hours. These new regulations were enforced by the then fully operational Interstate Commerce Commission, but are now obviously governed by the infamous Department of Transportation. For more fun facts regarding the fan-favorite DOT, be sure to check out our 10 Things You Didn't Know About the DOT video located on our channel. Despite being the last year of the Dirty 30s, 1939 proved to be one of the most eventful years of the entire decade. First and foremost, perhaps one of the most well-known trucking manufacturers in the entire world was born this year, Peterbilt Motors Company, with the release of their dynamic duo featuring the chain-driven Model 260 and the dual-driven Model 334. Both Models 260 and 334 were wildly popular, and it was these two models that were responsible for paving the way of what began Peterbilt's long road to success. As the decade came to a close, the Second World War quickly came to a head as Nazi Germany invaded Poland in September of 1939. The Dirty 30s were about to get a whole lot dirtier, with what would go on to be the bloodiest, deadliest conflict in history, World War II. Thank you all so much for watching this decade of our new series, Trucking in the 30s, 100 Years of Trucking. Before you leave, make sure you like the video, check out the other videos on our channel, and subscribe. We are growing rapidly and quickly approaching our next goal of 20,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much for the support for our show. If you'd like to stay up to date with the new projects that we have coming, follow us at Jack's Chrome Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We still have our truck history shirts available on our website at jackschromeshow.com, so please be sure to check them out. If you're in the mood for some chrome, please drop by our online chrome shop at jackschromeshop.com and save on your order by using the discount code YouTube. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next week, and remember guys, if your rig don't shine, you don't know Jack.